Hello, let me adjust this camera a little bit. I'm meteorologist Marshall McPeak, and we are ready to track some severe storms for your evening tonight. It is going to turn into an adventurous evening, to be sure. So what we're looking at out there at the moment is some really unstable air, and there is a line of thunderstorms coming in from Indiana that is running into that unstable air and is just feeding on it. And that is probably going to give us some very strong storms over the next several hours. So we are already under tornado watches here in Columbus and a lot of central and southern Ohio. And that's going to run until 3 o'clock in the morning. So let's take a look at where things are at the moment. Give you a sense of what's going on. So you see those storms coming across the Indiana border right there. So this line right here, they're getting a little bit more organized as they come through. Let me just put that on now and just stop it for a second. See that right there? So they're getting a little more organized. There have already been tornadoes reported with this line this evening. And so this is part of the reason why we're really going to have to keep an eye on this, because it already has a history of producing some tornadoes. And the tornado watch that's out there right now suggests that there could be large, long-track tornadoes, which means big uns, as well as 2 to 3 inch hail and 70 to 90 mile per hour winds, straight line winds. So that's why these storms are really worth keeping an eye on. You notice what's coming south of Indianapolis and heading toward, at this point, sort of just north of Cincinnati, between Cincinnati and Dayton. Those are strengthening, which is unusual for this time of the night, because usually once the sun goes down, we lose some energy and things begin to quiet down. But this is some really unstable air that's got lots of energy out there, and so that's part of what we're watching. Here's what's coming. Let me zoom in on this real quick and show you where we are. Let me turn off the lightning so this is just west and northwest of Cincinnati. All of these counties out here, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different tornado warnings in this particular batch. Plus the orange that you see here, those are thunderstorm warnings, and that's headed into the Cincinnati area right now. So this line of thunderstorms then stretches up past the Dayton area. There aren't as many tornado warnings on this part of the storm, but these are still strengthening. And then you've got this batch out here that's also likely to cause some trouble. All of this is headed toward the east and northeast at about 40 to 60 miles per hour. So it's not quite to Columbus yet. We've got another, let's say, hour and change before they really get into Columbus, but it's coming. And so we're watching what's going on. If you were with us last night, you probably remember us talking a little bit about, there was a cap last night. So there's this layer of warm air in the atmosphere at about 15,000 feet. And sometimes what happens is it's a strong enough layer that it prevents air from moving up. And we need rising air to be able to create big thunderstorms. So when that lid keeps the air from going up, then we don't get the thunderstorms. And last night it did a really good job of preventing the air from rising like that. We don't have that kind of cap tonight. There is just the tiniest, weakest little blip in the data. In fact, where are we? It's 8:12. We should be getting new balloon data here any minute. So the National Weather Service sends up balloons twice a day at 0Z and 12Z, which is 8 o'clock in the morning and 8 o'clock in the evening when it's daylight time. And we use that data to see what the atmosphere looks like. And let me see if I can call that up somewhere where I can get to it. I'm kind of tied to this computer right now. But that gives us a sense of what's happening in the atmosphere at different levels. So the balloon goes up, and it's got a sensor attached to it. radio sonde, and that sends the data back down to the ground. So that's brand new. Look at that. They just issued a new severe thunderstorm warning that's going to get you into western Ohio, north of Dayton. And yep, thank you. That beep means there's a new warning. And it's going to actually include parts of, looks like Champaign County. So, Champaign and Clark counties. So you'll get Springfield and Urbana included in that one. That lasts until at least 9 o'clock tonight. Could get 3/4 inch hail and 60 mile an hour winds out of that one. So heads up, here it comes. So as that sensor goes up through the atmosphere, the balloon keeps going up and up and up and up. The balloon finally gets to a height in the atmosphere where the barometric the air pressure is so low, and the balloon just keeps growing and growing and growing. It finally just explodes. It's like if you overfilled a helium balloon and then it popped. That's what happens to those, and that's intentional. And then the little radio sonde falls down to the ground, and they have labels on them that say, "If you find me, put me in the mailbox," and it gets sent back to the Weather Service to be reused. But that data is vital, not just for us to understand what's happening in the atmosphere right now, but also that data goes into the models. And the models use that data as initialization to say this is the condition of the atmosphere right now, and then the models begin to extrapolate into the future what the likely scenarios may be. So those weather balloons are really important to our understanding of the current atmosphere, and then they feed the models as well. So we should have data from the 8 o'clock balloon here any second. Let me hold that thought for a second. Let me see if I can get to that. And if I can, we'll see what this new data says. Hang on, give me just a second to get through this. It's not there yet. So they're still working on it. It actually may... Usually it takes about 20 or 30 minutes, and we start getting some of that data. So we should have some of that any minute now. In the meantime, you can see what's going on with those storms coming across the Indiana border. So tonight's an alert night. We're going to stay weather aware with all of this. Your time frame right now is pretty much anything between now and midnight. Probably we could even extend that maybe even to 3 a.m. to coincide with the tornado watch. But I think these are going to race through a little faster than... I think it's going to be through here before 3 in the morning. In any case, stay weather aware tonight because hail, gusty winds, lightning, the potential for some... And it's been a while since they've said, hey, this could be long-track tornadoes. So the conditions are there. The ingredients are ready. And so with all of that... What's
volatile in atmosphere. That's what it
volatile is exactly what it is. So, by 10 o'clock, a lot of this moves through Columbus, and then it starts to sort of finish up, and things will quiet down after midnight tonight. But in the meantime, scattered strong storms for I-70 and north, numerous severe storms south of I-70, the Cincinnati area, and this is already playing out, widespread strong to severe storms. So this is going to be, can you keep an eye on the, that 8 o'clock balloon should be sending back data any minute now.
In Wilmington?
Yeah. You might have to go to the SPC site for it. But that'll give us a new update on what's happening out there. So, strong storms are happening as we speak, and more of those are on the way. So this is a significant, and it's been a while since we've had things at this level, but a significant threat for 40 to 60 mile per hour winds or greater, a significant threat for hail of at least 1 inch, if not 2 to 3 inches. So 3-inch hail, what is that, baseball size? Softball size? Baseball.
I can pull it up.
We actually have there.
I got this marked.
there is an entire list of the equivalents of what those are. But you're looking at a pretty sizable ice ball at that point that can really do some damage. 3-inch.
A large apple that's bigger than baseball.
A large apple bigger than a baseball.
Not quite a softball.
Okay, so not quite softball size, but bigger than a baseball. That's enough to do some damage to your car. The other part is, and it really has been a while since we've had a significant threat for tornadoes. Usually it's limited, maybe even elevated, but at this point, this is a significant threat. So as these storms move into central Ohio, make sure you have a way to get watches and warnings, and your mobile device is probably the best way to do this. We're going to run them on TV. You'll probably get social media notices. You can get text messages. You can sign up for alerts. The Ohio Weather app is, I know it sounds self-serving, but there you go. The Ohio Weather app is actually really good for that. It will send you those alerts. We use it on our phones because it's good for that. So have a way to get those watches and warnings so that you're prepared. There you go. Tonight, showers, storms. Some of those could be strong to severe. 63 for the overnight low. Tomorrow, the rain is out of here before we get to sunrise. 73 degrees there. And the rest of the weekend looks pretty good. 73 on Sunday, 71 on Monday. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we'll get some showers and thunderstorms in here again. Tell you what, I'm going to move this way. There's a behind the scenes, so you can see what's going on. And let me see if we've got new, hang on, what is this? Okay, so that's a severe thunderstorm warning now for Hardin County. So that's 12Z that's last night. So yeah, we don't have the 0Z data yet. It's still coming in. There's an 18. Yeah, we don't have it yet. It's coming, so we're just not quite there yet. We'll keep an eye out for that. In any case, let me dive into. Fix this camera. We need an easier way to move that, don't we? Let me dive in here to the Instaface so we can talk about what's going on. So what do you got? Let's see. Carolyn, well, I'm not sure you need to seek shelter right now, but you definitely want to have your severe weather plan in place so that you know what you're going to do. If a severe thunderstorm warning or a tornado warning is issued for your area, you're going to want to make sure that you are prepared for that and you know what to do and where you're going to go. You know, part of what happens is sometimes we don't think about these things until we're in the moment. And by then, sometimes it's a little late for that. You probably needed to decide beforehand so that you had a plan. So take a few minutes even right now and think about, what's my plan? What am I going to do? Where am I going to go? Where is my safest place to be? And how quickly can I get there? Let me zoom this in a little bit so that we can see more of that. There we go. So this is the brand new severe thunderstorm warning that includes parts of Hardin County and down into Champaign and Clark counties. So you've got all that going on right there. The storms are still out this way. You've got a little time yet before they get into your neck of the woods, but they're on the way and getting ready. Vicky is in Buckeye Lake. You've got a little extra time. It'll come through Columbus first. Tina says the last storm did damage to the car. Yikes. Well, if we get some big hail out of this one, we could have some of those issues again. So that's part of the reason why we're going to keep a close eye on some of this. What's this? That's from Charleston, so we're okay on that. All right, what do we have? Cody wants to know if this is going to tone itself down a little bit. It's going to calm down by the time it gets to Newark. So here's the catch to this, Cody, is that these storms are marching into some very unstable air, like really unstable air. So the idea that they might weaken never say never, but they've got a lot of energy to work with.
Even if they weaken, they're still strong enough.
Yeah.
It's the environment's still so unstable.
So we talked about this a little bit last night. Let's run through this again. So there are some indices that we use to talk about instability. And instability is when the air wants to rise. So think of it as a beach ball that you're holding under the water in the pool, right? If you've got that beach ball, the air in the beach ball, science note, is less dense than the water. So the beach ball just pops right up to the top. The same thing happens with air in the atmosphere, that you can get a little pocket that's warmer or it's less dense, or maybe it's got a little more moisture in it, and that can make it less dense than the air around it. So it starts to rise. And when we get a lot of air rising, that's when we get these really big storms. So instability is a measure of how much the air wants to rise. What are the ingredients in the air that are making it ready to go up, to rise, and create those showers and thunderstorms? One of the indices that we use is called the lifted index. And the more negative it is, the more unstable the air is, the more it wants to rise. And at -1, -2, you get some storms, right? -2, -3, maybe -4, you get some big storms. -5, -6, you get some really big storms. Right now, we're at -7. Parts of the Cincinnati area are at -9. So it gives you a sense of just how unstable the air is out there. It's had plenty of time during the daytime today to use some of that sunshine and some of that humidity and to sort of gather all that energy, and it's ready to go. So now
we're at
-8 now. Lord.
But the good news is that Cincinnati dropped to -8.
So they've improved to -8.
We've actually
So
not yet.
So Cody, to your point, are they going to weaken? That would suggest that they still have plenty of energy to march into. And that, yeah, they could weaken by the time they get there, but you may also still have some really strong storms as this moves through.
Cincinnati's Cape has dropped as well to 2,500.
That's still really high.
Yeah, that's what I told you. 3,000 is considered volatile.
Yeah.
Right? 1,000 is sufficient.
Yeah.
I mean, more than sufficient.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah.
So the numbers that Jen is talking about. So this is another one, and here's a big phrase: convective available potential energy. There's a reason we call it CAPE, CAPE, convective available potential energy, and it is another index that we use to say how volatile is the air, how much does it want to rise, how unstable is it. So when it's up to 1,000 or 1,500, then yeah, we're going to get some storms. We've got some unstable air. When it gets to 2,000, 2,500, yeah, you're going to get some big storms. When it's 3,000 or more, oh yeah, big storms. So last night, we were sitting at 3,000 and 3,500. We're pretty close to that tonight. We've got 2,500 to 3,000 across a lot of the area.
Bobbing and weaving between
We're
that for sure.
Bobbing and weaving out there tonight.
As does an air molecule.
As does an air molecule. So,
We're so nerdy.
so part of what's happening out there is we have all of this instability, and these storms are barreling into that, and so they can use that energy to actually Rory says, looks like north of 70 it's falling apart. Are you talking about in Indiana? Because it ain't falling apart in Ohio.
These storms have actually continued to gain strength and develop as they push the east.
Which, to Jen's point, is very interesting with these storms. They
do tend to weaken, but that is not the case tonight.
Yeah, they usually do weaken. Once the sun goes down, we lose some energy and the storms kind of fall apart and off it goes. But that's not happening tonight. These have actually strengthened in the last 90 minutes as they've moved into Ohio because they're rolling into that unstable air. And so they've actually strengthened in the last 60, 90 minutes coming into the state. Let's take a closer look at what we've got going on here. So there's that thunderstorm warning. In fact, let me turn the radar portion off so you can see that a little better. There it is. See all that orange part? That's severe thunderstorm warnings. So those are marching east fairly quickly. There are a couple of tornado warnings down here, one northwest of Cincinnati and then one out here in parts of southern Indiana. But in central Ohio right now, we're still waiting for it to get here, and it is, ooh, look at that. So these are storm reports. Look at these down here. So let's just kind of zoom to, oh, wow. This is southern Indiana. And that's what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's a funnel cloud. So at least 9 reports of tornadoes. Now that doesn't mean those are all tornadoes on the ground. What that means is those are reports of, and sometimes they're duplicates. But there's been a lot of rotation with all of these. There's a tornado warning just to the northwest of Cincinnati. You've got Springfield and Urbana in this thunderstorm warning that lasts until 9 o'clock tonight. Put the radar back on there. There it is. So you can see just about to come across 75 is where we've got some of this really, really heavy rain. So Kayla says, where's the best place? Where did that go? Kayla wanted to know where was the best place to go if you live in an apartment.
Knock on your downstairs neighbor's door and make friends.
Make friends. Yeah, make friends with your neighbors downstairs. So you've got a couple of options. What you want to do,
if you have that if you enter from the inside, you want to get as close to that.
Yes.
Inside.
Yes.
As you can.
Yes.
If you enter from the outside, you want to get as far away from that.
Your goal is to get as far toward the interior of the building as you can. So get inside and low. So as Jen said, that's a good way to remember where to go. If you come into your apartment from a hallway inside, maybe that hallway is your best place to go, as long as there are no windows out there. And usually if it's an interior hallway, there might not be. If you get into your apartment from an outside hallway or an outside door, you probably want to go to the opposite side of the apartment. In any case, you want to get as far toward the center of the building as you can and put as many walls as possible between you and the outside and stay away from windows. So that would be the best way to do that. Maybe your building has a laundry room in the basement. Maybe that's your best place. So you're going to have to assess your individual situation and look at your building to find what's the right place. For us,
we've thought about this.
Our best place, we actually have a hallway out here that is interior to the building and away from windows. We're in a giant cavern right now. So where we are, this roof could, if a tornado hit this building, this roof is coming off. Yeah, we would likely have to leave the studio. Or at the very least, dive under a desk.
We'll leave our
at
mics
least.
on.
And go out in the hallway. But you have to look at your space and figure out what your safest place will be. There are lots of general rules for that. Interior of the building as low as you can go. But you have to look at your individual space to figure out what it's going to be. George says, this system looks like the real deal, nothing to ignore. Yeah, I think you're right. This is not one to ignore. This one is going to be a bit of a big deal.
I think this is from that clip was them continuing the severe thunderstorm.
So Cody says, I live in the middle of the city and I try to use that to keep me calm. Since tornadoes hit more rural areas, that's just it.
True.
That's unfortunately, Cody. this is so. I had a conversation with somebody the other day, and part of the issue is we as humans are terrible witnesses because we tend to remember things that play into our own biases, right? So a lot of folks will say, well, we never get tornadoes in Columbus. It always goes around us. Well, if you look at the data, you'll actually see that Franklin County is the most tornado-prone county in central Ohio, and we've had 33 tornadoes in the city. So sometimes we don't remember things the way we think we do. Does that make sense? But when you look at real data, you could actually see where they were, when they hit, how strong they were, and then unfortunately it kind of proves that we as humans are just not always good at remembering the way we think we do. So anecdotal evidence is often problematic. But yeah, Columbus is actually the most tornado-prone. Franklin County is the most tornado-prone county in central Ohio. One way to think about this, though, imagine a wall-sized map of Ohio. So you've got a giant map of Ohio, and a dart. The dart is the size of the tornado, right? So if you throw that dart at the map, your chances of hitting a city or village bullseye is really small. You're more likely to hit a rural area because there's more of that in Ohio. But that dart can land anywhere, including in the city. And so on at least 33 occasions, that has happened in Franklin County. And so that's why we still have to be really conscious and weather aware about how all these things go. Angie, be careful what you wish for. Angie says she wants a tornado. I'm not sure you do. I'm not sure you really do. I think you might.
That's devastation.
Not be happy with that.
Especially with the way the atmosphere looks right now.
Yeah, it's not looking good. So we're just kind of watching and waiting as these storms make their way. They seem to have slowed down significantly.
Yeah, they were just plowing through.
They were hightailing at highway speed.
Particularly through Indiana.
Yeah. Look at that. They've just really slowed down at this point. Let's look at this. Come on. There it is. There's a thunderstorm warning. No, that still says those are moving at 65 miles an hour.
There's so many. You know what it is? Because we're waiting for them.
Well, it's like waiting for a pot to boil, right? Let's put this in motion. This is going to be for the last hour. Oh yeah, those are bearing along pretty good.
They're coming. I expected them to be here by now.
But they're coming across 75 as we speak.
Almost.
Carrie says she's getting a bunch of wind at Indian Lake.
Okay.
Let's pop up there. There's Russell's Point and Lakeview. It's almost into your neighborhood. You're covered by the severe thunderstorm warning. It's parts of Logan and Hardin counties. Wapak is just about to get some of that. Uniopolis. Oh, Salina had a pretty good storm a little few minutes ago. New Bremen. St. Henry. Oh, wait, let's go. There's Minster. Chickasaw. So that's going to be right there's Osgood. Where'd it go? Should be right here. Where's Chickasaw? There it is. There's Maria Stein. Hi.
Just wanted to check
This is
in.
Kayla. Kayla is our 10 o'clock producer and is trying to get things ready to go for the 10 o'clock news on Fox 28. It's coming. it's probably going to be here during your show.
Nice.
Good times, good times.
Prepared for a
So
hijack.
yeah, we'll plan on being at the wall for all of that.
Okay.
And yeah, so if things get really out of control, and we end up with some really big storms and have to actually break in, it's Kayla's show that we're gonna destroy. So she spends all of her evening putting the show together, and then all it takes is a tornado warning to just it's all over. So we'll be ready.
Okay. Sounds
Thank
good.
you. All right, so
This
we're
is
gonna.
still last night.
Is that
so
last night's?
Still last night.
Hang on, we're still trying to get the. We're still trying to get the balloon data from
Didn't
tonight.
they say they weren't gonna do it?
Well, they weren't going to do an afternoon,
Oh.
but they were
okay.
still going to do the 0. Hang on, here we go.
5.
Got it.
That is it.
LIs of -8.
That is it, isn't it?
This is the 17th at 0Z,
That's
so this
it.
is it, yeah.
Just kidding. It's here.
There is. Boy, there is the tiniest
I
little
mean-
cap on that.
And then
But-
some dry air really high up as
So that's the other catch. So, okay. Here's what we're learning from this balloon right now. And that is that there's a tiny little cap. But the catch to it is that right there at that moment, right where that is, there's this blast of really dry air. Counterintuitively, moist air that has more moisture in it, is actually less dense than dry air. I know that seems weird, but the reason is because it literally comes down to the molecules. So water molecules, the way the angles work with the oxygen and the hydrogen, it creates this sort of tripod-looking thing, and it separates the molecules more than when it's just dry air, and they're able to get much closer together. So when you've got those water molecules in that parcel of air, it actually becomes less dense than the dry air around it. So all of that to say, at about, what is that, 10,000 feet? Maybe 8 to 10,000 feet. So there is this huge pocket of really dry air, but you've got moist air rising. So when that moist air gets to that dry layer, bam, off it goes, because it's less dense than the air around it. And so it causes more of it to rise. So even though there is the tiniest little cap or inversion sitting there, that's really not going to help us tonight. Gah. Crud.
Nothing is working, and it's all working against us.
It's all working against us. Doggone it. So yeah, that's where we are. So these are on their way. They're coming across 75 now. At highway speed, that's going to put them here in about, less than 90 minutes. So all up and down the US 23 corridor, we're looking at 90 minutes. What does that put us at? 10 o'clock? It's 8:42 now, 9:42. Yeah, right around 9:30, 10 o'clock. It's getting into our neck of the woods, and that's just in time for us to ruin Kayla's show.
That she worked all
That she worked all
day
night on. So we're gonna keep an eye on this. Drat. You know what? Let's look at how big these are.
yeah, I want to see.
Let's-
I want to
let's-
see what they look like.
Let's do a little cross section here. Let's go this way.
That's high.
40,000 feet. What you got? farther up. Those are at 20,000 feet. But what's down here closer to Cincinnati, that's 40,000 feet. You'll get some good-sized hail out of that, too. Especially, look at that one. Look at that. So these are big storms. By golly, that's a big storm. Let's get rid of that and go back to, let's go to here.
I mean, these are still also just shooting out a really impressive amount of lightning.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, they are. Where's this? I'm going to pump this up to 17. Take some of that out of there. Put these back in motion. This is 1 hour's worth. One thing I do like is this.
That could eat away at some of the energy.
Part of what's happening, so all of these storms have an updraft. What goes up must come down, so they've got a downdraft. And when the downdraft comes out of the storm, because it comes down and it can either go ahead of the storm or it hits the ground and it can spread in multiple directions. But as it comes down, a lot of times it'll push the air ahead of the storm, which is where you can get some of these really strong wind gusts, right? So part of what's happening out there right now is we have some of this rain is from the outflow of these storms. So as these storms very quickly march to the east, it's pushing air ahead of it and creating some showers ahead. The good part of that is those showers could stabilize some of this. Yeah. So that may be helpful.
Or maybe our one positive thing.
That's our maybe one positive thing, that maybe those showers ahead of it could try to stabilize some of what's happening out there, and that could give us a little bit better let me fix something here. Let's see if I can hold on. If I do this, it's not going to let me do it. All right, never mind. Hang on, give me 2 seconds. I gotta fix something real quick. Oh, turn that down. Hang on, y'all. I'll be right there. I'm working on fixing something. Not having any luck right now. Alright. Never mind. Okay, so we're back. What did I just see? Who was that? Somebody's in a travel trailer at Buckeye Lake. Here's what I would recommend. If you're in a travel trailer at Buckeye Lake, go for the shelter. You've got some time. You don't have to go right now.
Yeah, we don't have a warning in place.
Yeah, there are no warnings right now in the Columbus metro area or east, but go take a look at where that shelter is and how to get into it and who's going to help you get in and out of there so that you know where to go. If you're in that kind of travel trailer, especially, if you're at Indian Lake, Buckeye Lake, this is coming through the area. In Indian Lake, it's just getting to your neighborhood right now, but Buckeye Lake's got a little extra time. But do your research now before it becomes really, it's a necessity at this very moment, right? So before it gets to that point, make sure you've got your plan in place. So I can't tell you where the shelter is at Buckeye Lake specifically, but it's worth going to find. If not, like the state park has shelters, that kind of thing. Maybe there's a concrete block building that you can take shelter in. Just know where that is and know what you're going to do, so that when the time comes, if the time comes, you'll know where you're gonna go and how that's gonna work out. We've got spam bots all over this feed.
Oh, no.
Beware the spam bots. They're trying to friend everybody. So watch out for that. Yeah, Misty, that's what I was trying to do a few minutes ago and can't seem to get rid of it.
This is some positive news too.
What you got?
The hook, our little hook echo, not really hooking.
What now?
There's no like fish hook here. It's messy.
Are you looking at the photograph?
Yes.
Oh, I gotcha. Okay.
I mean, I guess that this end of it is there, but I just want positive. I want good.
You're looking for some positive spin on that. No, I get it. I absolutely get it.
Cling on to.
Kayla wants to know about Rendezvous. Oh, would love to go to that. That's this weekend, and it's going to be a spectacular event. They're doing a whole Wicked themed night at the zoo.
That sounds right up your alley.
It does, doesn't it? I mean, it just looks really like a lot of fun. Kayla, I think it'll be fine Saturday night.
Yeah, but once this is past us,
I think, in fact, for Race for the Cure tomorrow morning here in Columbus,
be a little cooler.
Yeah, we should be fine. This is going to move through pretty quickly, and then by midnight, 1 a.m., most of this is done. And so I think by sunrise on Saturday, Race for the Cure time, it should be fine downtown. And then by the evening for Rendezvous, it should be fine. And for the crew game, it's crew hosting Cincinnati. The Hell is Real match. That is looking pretty good. So I think we're getting there.
That clip was for stuff to the southeast of us, or for southeast Ohio.
Okay, why won't it let me get rid of this spam bot? Why will that not go away? It won't let me get rid of it. And it's flooding the feed. And so if you get a friend request from, who is this? Celine Gomez, it's a bot. Ignore that. We're trying to get rid of it, trying to get it out of the feed, but having a little trouble with that.
Who's up there? Is it Adam?
Can you send John a note, see if he can get to it? He might have more admin access to be able to get rid of that.
What's the name? Celine?
Yeah, it's all over the feed. Selene Gomez. We'll see if we can get that out of there. Oh, here, that was Lisa at Buckeye Lake. Yep. So, Heidi, I'm thrilled with your confidence. I hope you're right. I hope it does fizzle out before it gets to you. I would love to know what data you're using to make that determination, because that's not what our data is showing. But I hope you're right. That'd be fantastic. So let's hope that's the direction that it takes. Scott says you're getting thunder and lightning down near Jeffersonville, so that's going to be down 71 into the courthouse area, Fayette County. Let me put the lightning back on this. Look at all that lightning. Boy, that's going to be just booming as it comes through here.
Pittsburgh just announced their.
Did they send theirs?
They just did a discussion of their sounding. Yeah.
So read through that. Let us know what you get.
Just a minor things we've already discussed. Minor cap there as well.
Yep.
However, that's going to do little to stop the storms.
Right.
They mentioned the dry air that would just provide a hail threat.
Well, sweet. They mentioned all the things that we've already talked about. Look at us doing the analysis for them. So
yeah.
Excellent.
Just saying that there is potential rotation.
So here's the thing. That's Pittsburgh.
Their dry air is a little higher up.
So that's their hail threat.
Yeah. Their dry air is a little higher.
So that would also suggest that Pittsburgh is expecting it to get there.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see how this goes. Do you have Wilmington's chat up?
Yep, they just not my. Oh wait, let me see what this says.
Columbus WeatherNet is up. Well, that's good news. So for the Cincinnati area, they're going to let the tornado warnings expire. So that's good. They say it's some of the
kind of pushed past them. There was something developing behind this line that was quite strong earlier. But it looks like there's a severe thunderstorm warning on that.
Yeah. So we're kind of in a waiting pattern at this point.
Hurry up and wait.
Hurry up and wait. Let me bump this to 26. Look at these guys. Vandalia getting some really heavy rain right now. Lots of lightning and thunder. Thunderstorm warnings all the way up here through Lima. Look at all that lightning. Wow.
So they're saying what's just moved into Butler County, so that is west of us.
Southwest.
They're watching that.
So that's going to be, they're watching this one down here. Oh, well, that's why they're watching that.
Yeah.
Right there. That little notch right there. That's...
They just added severe thunderstorm warning, Logan, Shelby, Champaign.
Let's go up and look at that real quick. So we're adding more to the warnings. So here's the new one. And this one goes all the way from Bellefontaine. Here's
Union is in that.
a little bit of this little sliver of Union County is included in that. So you've got this part of Logan County down into Champaign and Clark counties. A little bit of this west of London in parts of Madison County. And that's in effect until 9:45. You could get 3/4 inch hail. Jennifer, ain't that the case, right?
60 mile per hour.
Jennifer says all kinds of bootleg meteorologists on here.
Oh, yeah. We talk about that
right.
often.
So Angie can see the lightning in the distance from the west side. Oh, yeah, I bet. So, Angie, what's fascinating about that, if you're on the west side of Columbus, so you're looking at lightning. So if you're, say, here, you're looking at lightning that's 40, 45 miles away. How cool is that?
The fact you can see that, wow.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So this is going to be an interesting evening. So if we put this, we put a track on this. It's going almost due east.
It'd be nice if we could get, like, if this was like a fake window and we had...
You could see all that back there.
Yeah.
This track is putting it into Kenton by 9:22. Marysville at 9:31, Courthouse at 9:43, Marion at 9:52, and into Columbus a little after 10. Kayla says Kings Island closed early
Oh wow.
because of the weather tonight. So yeah, this is into the Columbus metro area. In the next 45 minutes or an hour.
That puts it right on time. It just took its time. Well, no, because they said 9 o'clock. Remember, like Dayton was at Dayton. Hold on, I have it pulled up.
Yeah, they were like between 8 and 10.
They pushed
so,
it
yeah.
back a little earlier.
Yeah. Yeah. Evan wants to know if it being at 40,000 feet is different from a lot of storms. It's not really, Evan. It's actually just an indication of how strong the storm is. It's got a really good updraft on it. So at 40,000 feet, it can start making some pretty big hail and lots of lightning, because the farther that goes up, you've got those little ice crystals that they bang into each other, and they create that friction that then turns into an electrical charge, and next thing you know, you've got lightning happening. But 40,000 feet is a big storm. But anywhere between 20 and 40 is...
to go over
airplanes would have to go around that one. But
up or around.
yeah, probably easier to go around. But yeah, 40,000 feet's a big storm, but not completely unusual. A lot of times are 20 to 40,000. So that's what we've got out there at the moment. Caitlin wants to know if it's going to intensify before it gets to Columbus. You know, I think one of the big things right now is that it's likely to hold steady. It's still running into all of that unstable air, and it's using that to sort of keep fueling itself. So
It looks like they've gotten inch to inch and 3/4 hail.
Inch and 3/4 hail where?
This is going to be again west of us, but east of Trenton.
East of Trenton.
So Trenton
What
is
county
north
is
of
that?
Cincinnati. Trenton is north of Cincinnati. It looks like possibly Warren or Montgomery counties.
So Montgomery County is going to be Dayton.
I can't. Let me see. I can do this.
But right now, we've got severe thunderstorm warnings.
Butler County.
So that's Cincinnati.
That's that storm.
Yep. So right now, we've got thunderstorm warnings that include the very western portions of Union and Madison counties, plus parts of Champaign and Clark counties.
But this is important because this is what's coming for us.
But that's what's coming toward us. So basically, you're looking at, this is going to get to US 23, north to south. It's getting to 23 by 10 o'clock. It's on its way. So it's already coming down 33 in a few areas up near Bellefontaine. But then it's going to start moving into the Columbus area. So London, Courthouse, Marysville, going to get this in the next 45 minutes to an hour. And then closer to an hour and change to get into Columbus. And then it's moving at highway speed, so 60, 65 miles per hour. So you figure however long it would take you to get to that storm in your car driving on the highway, that's about how fast it's going to get here. So it's coming down I-70 pretty fast. Here you've got, let me put a different radar on here. Let's do it this way. So this is more of the, here's more NOWRAD. It goes a little farther than the actual sweeps. Here's 5, put that on there, right there. So you can see this still stretches all the way back toward Indianapolis. Teresa Riley is calling. Hang on. Hey Teresa, we're live on Facebook. How are you?
am good. Just calling to let you know, Logan County is getting hit really hard. I was driving into the storm. Looks exactly like it did a year ago when I went live for y'all.
Yikes. So you're listening to Teresa Riley. Teresa is a photographer for us here at ABC6 and Fox 28 and lives in Indian Lake. And Teresa was directly impacted by the tornado that came through Indian Lake last year. So we've got radar focused on Indian Lake and Russell's Point right now. So are you at home?
Yeah, I just walked in the door. I was really worried because the tornado came through my backyard last year. When I got to my front door, I had the funeral home that we lost, and they were rebuilding. I think one of the walls caved down because I heard a huge boom. But what I was really concerned about and wanted to share with everyone is the lightning. When I was driving through all of this from Bell Fountain to Lakeview and Russell's Point, the lightning was horizontal and vertical.
Wow.
So I'm worried that someone's house is going to catch on fire.
So were you seeing actual cloud to ground, or did it look like it was staying up in the cloud but still vertical?
No, it looked like it was hitting the ground.
Yikes. So
yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It was low, and the wind is going really. As soon as I got into Lakeview, the wind picked up 4 times. I have rain now. I have lightning. I have thunder, and really strong winds.
Wow. Okay.
So I don't advise going anywhere.
Right.
Until this passes.
So,
is it gonna pass?
Where you are, you've probably got about another, say, 30, 45 minutes, and you'll get a break from the rain. You'll at that point be seeing lightning to the east.
Okay.
So what we're talking about right now is, Teresa is up here in the Indian Lake area. And so this is the storm that she's seeing right now. This is 33 coming up through the Indian Lake area in that part of Logan County. And then it rolls up here toward Wapakoneta. So these are the storms that are producing the lightning that she's seeing right now. And those are moving east at about 40 to 60 miles per hour. So that's going to be moving through pretty quickly. So Teresa, be safe up there, please.
I will. Thank you. And thank you.
All right.
I'll let you know if anything more happens.
Give the puppy dogs a pat for us.
I will. Don't do one tornado. They don't want another one.
Exactly. All right. Bye.
Thank you.
So Teresa's up in that direction, and dealing with some of that as it's moving to the east. They will probably extend these thunderstorm warnings into more of Union and Madison County, probably into Fayette County here shortly, as this marches to the east. What you got here? 75 at 122 in
That's
Trillion.
just north of Dayton, it looks like.
Okay. Yeah. It's happening. Here it comes. Sherry's hearing the thunder in West Jeff right now. Brandon, we're trying. I swear we're trying. That's pretty funny. If we get lucky, these might weaken, but I'll tell you, they are moving into some really unstable air. And that's part of what concerns us with these. Let me put this back in motion so you can see. Look how fast these are going. Turn the lighting off, you can see better. There it is. This is 1 hour's worth of radar. And they've made it all the way from the Indiana border to just east of 75 in an hour. So they are racing through here. This is actually part of the way that they develop these strong gusty winds, because part of what happens, it's like when you're in your car and you're on the highway. If you roll your window down, you can feel that 60 mile per hour wind, right? however fast you're going, you're creating your own wind. And in some cases, the outflow from the storm can then sort of push it ahead. So it's already going 60 miles an hour plus what the outflow is. Now, the next thing you know, you've got 65, 70 mile per hour winds. And so it can really do some damage at that point. Cheryl says they're getting lots of lightning in London right now. More to come.
I'm seeing
You got
some
power outages?
pretty significant power. Well, I mean, not, yeah, for the size of the counties.
Who's that? Auglaize? Shelby and Auglaize County?
Looks like about maybe 20% of the county.
Is that Dark County right there to the west? Mercer and Dark counties, yeah.
About maybe like 8% of Mercer County.
Yeah. So we're getting power outages in western Ohio with these storms. That's starting to happen.
And I did see a report of many trees down in Mercer County as well. So that means that we knew that these wind speeds could do that. So
Rose says the sirens went off in Sydney. Really?
Huh.
That's interesting. I don't remember seeing a tornado warning up there.
Severe thunderstorm warning for Logan, Union, and Hardin.
There it is. See this one right here? That's the one they just issued. So-
Less than 3/4 of an inch hail with 60 mile per hour wind gusts. Or greater? No, that's less than.
So there's now a thunderstorm warning for this. So up here in Hardin County for Kenton, just south of Ada there, you've got this thunderstorm warning. That's for these storms out here. And that includes this little piece of Union County. So there's sort of a box here for Union County. There's this western side and then this northern portion and then on up into Hardin County. So Logan and Hardin counties both have severe thunderstorm warnings right now. And that's going to go, let me move this a little bit. Let's go here. That's going to last until 9:45. You could get 3/4 inch hail and 60 mile per hour winds out of that.
And it says that's now moving at 50 miles per hour.
So it has slowed down.
Yeah.
Interesting. That could be good for us. Dayton is getting just pummeled right now.
It looks like it's a little stronger down there.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Dayton getting pummeled. Springfield is about to start getting it. Just north of 40. Do we have a good look at tower cam right now? Is tower cam pointed east or west? Let's see what we've got. Hey Luke, are you out there? Can you ask the control room to point tower cam to the west? If you can ask them to point it to the west, please. Let's see what we see. Janet says lightning and thunder in Grove City. Yep. Pickaway County getting lightning and thunder. Oh, here we go. We're turning tower cam as we speak. Yep, we see it turning. That's excellent. Thank you. So we're seeing Broadcast Lake, so that's going to be pointed south. We're trying to turn tower cam so that we can see some of the lightning that's happening out there. The catch to it is we're probably disturbing the osprey in the process.
They have eggs.
They have eggs, as a matter of fact. So The osprey sitting on top of our tower have a couple of, is it 2 or 3?
I think there's 3. There's at least 3.
Is it 3?
They also have a sweatshirt.
And what looks like a jacket. And yeah. They've dragged all kinds of stuff up into the nest this year. It's a whole dumping ground up there.
Cozy.
Yeah,
Like they're trying.
they're making it soft and comfy up there. If you're not familiar with our osprey, so we have a tower right outside of our building that's about 25 stories high, so it's about 250 feet. And 7-8 years ago now, a pair of osprey built a nest up there, and it's a fantastic location for them because we're sitting right on Broadcast Lake, and so they've got a great hunting ground, plus the river's close by, so they've got plenty of food source. And osprey tend to A, mate for life, and B, they come back to the same nest every year. And after the first year, they're protected. You can't touch them while they're up there. But after they left for the season, the engineers very diligently went up there and tried to clear away the nest because there's a beacon up there that has to be visible. It has to be unobstructed. Oh, they just added Marion County to this. So Marion and Wyandotte counties have just been added to the thunderstorm warnings.
They haven't.
So the osprey then came back the next year and built it again. They put the same nest in the same spot, and they started all over. And so after that, our engineering team was kind of like, okay, what's the point of taking down the nest? They're going to build it again. So we've just sort of learned to live in harmony with the osprey as they poop on our cars and drop fish guts all over the parking lot. So, but they're fascinating to watch, and it's the same pair every year. They come back and they lay the eggs right here. So yeah, lots of lightning and thunder out there right now, and more of that's on its way toward Columbus. We're gonna see more of that in the next hour and a half. I'll tell you what, Jen, can you do me a favor? Why don't you, if you wouldn't mind, entertain our friends here on the InstaFace. I'm actually I need to do a couple of things. I want to go look out the window and see if there's lightning that we can see from here. We don't have a window in the weather center. I've never worked in a weather center that has a window. You would think, of all places, that would have a window.
We're always stuck in the dark corner of a studio.
Yeah. Jen's going to take over for a few minutes. I'm going to go out and do a little visual inspection, and then I need to start building the 10.
Okay.
So here's Jen. I'll be right back.
Okay, so also just to give you an update on what is happening, it looks like those storms, that were in, Butler County, right? The strong ones?
Cincinnati.
Yeah, they're going into Warren, and they're keeping an eye to see if they are going to warn that for tornadoes. Now, we also have, let me zoom out, these storms behind still moving through Indianapolis, and those look to be, the main concern for those looks to be hail. And you can see all the damage reports of hail going on there. So yeah, we're still watching this just move through, inching its way into central Ohio here. And likely, like I said, they'll continue to warn these as it pushes to the east as well. I think Marshall has probably mentioned that. He took his phone. Hold on, let me get into the Facebook Live on my phone so I can see your comments. And try to answer your questions. Give me just a second to get in there. Here we go. Yeah, I know there's a way for us to, I don't know if I can do it in here. We can actually look up and see. I'm going to go into his show. Don't tell him. Shh. And see if I can see how many lightning strikes there's been, because we do have the ability to look at that. Let's see. Reports. I might have to. Let me see. I know there's a way to do it. Lightning, lightning, lightning. At the last place I was at, it was listed for me. I didn't have to go looking for it. So, I'm not seeing query now. Yeah, it seems like, oh wait, hold on. Maybe this is it. Yeah, I'm not finding. I know there's a way we can do it. I'm not finding it. Okay, it looks like we've got new, maybe some new watches and warnings as well. Let's see. Is that it to the south? I bet that, was that it to the south? Did they add those? Bet that's it. Clinton, Fayette, Greene, and Madison, or was that the one that they already added? When I'm not paying attention to the screen. All right, let's see. Time tracker. Yeah, let's do that. Okay, we know that the last we heard it was moving at 50 miles per hour. Actually, I don't know if I can do that on the screen, but I can do it over here and let you know. So let me go to that. He was messing with it. Okay, wait, maybe I can do it. Here we go. It's going at 50 miles per hour. Looks like it's moving pretty straight. Here we go. All right, how about that? So London, 9:35. Washington Courthouse, 9:46. So that's why that is in place till 10. How do we count the lightning strikes?
There is a...
Columbus, 10:03. So it's moving right on schedule.
Yeah, more or less.
We knew it would be here right around 10 o'clock, a few hours, at least that's what was expected before we started doing shows at 5 o'clock. We've got Newark at 10:40, Logan at 10:53, Zanesville at 11. So that's towards the most, oh yeah, that's a lot of
lightning.
It's a lot of lightning. So
14 strikes there, 63 strikes near Wilmington, near Springfield right now.
Did you just click? Did you just turn that on and then you hit?
So I'm in the query tool to make the box.
Did you like have to highlight it?
No.
That just says time. Is that because I've got the tracker on?
Probably.
Okay, let me get the tracker off. Let me try this so we can see it.
So draw a box.
Oh, okay. I'm learning. Let me try this one more time.
There you go. There you go.
There we go. There it is. All right. Number of strikes, 34. And that's just within that little box. If we go here to the west of London, and it's the strikes in the last hour, correct?
Strikes in the last 15 minutes.
Even more impressive. We said there was an impressive amount of lightning coming with this. So yeah, lightning. We got lightning in Galloway. Oh, thunder heard in South Columbus. All right, yeah, it's inching closer to us for sure. We're
Sarah,
starting to get lots
should
of
Kenton take cover? Yes, you should be weather
inside.
aware.
Yeah.
This is not a tornado warning for you, but it is a severe thunderstorm warning, and
You want to be inside as
wanna
this
be
is
inside.
moving through. Yeah, definitely. Thunder and lightning in Grove City. All right. Yeah, we're starting to see those lightning strikes. Hold on, let me get the little arrow. There you are. No, not the arrow that I wanted. Marshall, where's your blue arrow?
it is right here.
The pointer.
Yep.
Okay.
There it is.
Yeah, we're starting to see some lightning moving into Franklin County. So it looks like that's the furthest to the east it is right now. What about Delaware? Are you talking about for track? Let me move this further north. Looks like that line is kind of doing this. See if Delaware comes up. Delaware does not come up, but because it is just to the north and west, I would say probably a little before it hits Columbus. So sometime before 10 o'clock, maybe like 9:45 would be a good estimate of when it's going to hit the Delaware area. Delaware seeing some thunder right now. It's really pushing to the east. It doesn't have much of a northeasterly projection anymore. It did come from the southwest, but we just heard it here. Yeah,
A little thunder here.
heard some thunder over the station.
Oh, that's pretty good.
So yeah, it's pretty much tracking east, not moving very far to the north. Yes, possible tornadoes and hail. We've seen reports of almost 2-inch hail that's actually been reported. Chillicothe. That's probably about the same time it hits Columbus for Chillicothe. You're directly south of Columbus. So that's about 10 o'clock-ish. So yeah, just again, you're going to want to be inside. You don't want to be outside for this. The winds gusting at least 60 miles per hour. That's enough to knock over or knock down tree limbs. We've actually had reports of downed trees from this, and we do expect power outages. We've actually seen power outages where these storms have already moved through.
Did you get this new warning for Fayette, Madison, Clark?
Yes, that's
Highland?
what
got
we
that
were
one?
showing. Yeah.
Sorry.
Until 9:45?
Yes, question mark?
Or well, we can go. Oh, hold on.
Hang on. Yes.
Hold on, let
No,
me get-
till, wait.
This is a new one. I think you're
Till 10.
Okay, yep, there's a new one. Hold on, let me go down here. Oh, we got another one. Franklin, Delaware, Franklin, Madison, Union till 10:30.
Oh, joy.
Severe thunderstorm warning. Again, all of these areas are under a tornado watch
Yeah.
as well.
Till
So
3
till 3 a.m. I have a feeling though. What did it go down to?
We're down to -8 in Columbus.
I told you that.
I'm having trouble
Right.
keeping track.
I know.
I'm having trouble keeping up.
We mentioned that.
There's a lot going on.
We mentioned that earlier. So, yeah, we're seeing more of these start to pop up as this continues to push to the east. Hancock, Marion, Wyandotte till 10 p.m. Looks like we're seeing hail of about 3/4 of an inch there with 60 mile per hour. I mean, I think 60 mile per hour winds is pretty much the standard on this. That's what we've seen reported, and that's where they're continuing to, or that's the narrative they're continuing to push.
You do a tease in the D block on the weekend, don't you? 10 o'clock.
Typically.
Yeah. We usually don't weekdays. But we're going to tonight.
Well,
I just happened to
well,
notice
we've
it.
got a lot to talk about.
You've got a lot going on.
Yeah. is yes, the entire, well, I say the entire area, most of the area is under a tornado watch. We haven't seen any warnings go off yet since this has pushed into Ohio. However,
Tornado warnings, you mean?
yes, sorry, tornado warnings. Let me be clear with that. However, the environment is incredibly conducive for tornadic activity. We talked about this it's probably been a while. We could probably go over it again, but it's not just it's not just saying this might happen.
Oh, that's what you were saying
Let me rephrase that.
earlier. 3?
It's hold on. I took notes, so I would speak to the point. So it's not just sufficient for tornadic activity; it's beyond that. We've got CAPE values.
Explain what that is.
Oh no!
You can't just throw out jargon. You got to explain what it is.
What
It's
does
all
it
well and
stand
good
for
to be all
again?
nerdy, but you got to explain
I
it.
know. Wait, what does it stand for again?
Convective available potential energy.
Okay, so essentially the more energized the atmosphere, the higher that number, the more conducive it is to produce
Air that wants to rise.
Right. So even at 1,000, we're talking about possibly some weak tornadoes and
Thunderstorms.
thunderstorms
Yeah.
at 1,500, 2,000, maybe a weak tornado. And then it goes above 3,000.
Batten down the hatches.
Yeah, and we're at 2,500.
Yeah.
Where last time I checked, we were at 2,400. And then we have the lifted index. And you're going to have to take over again.
So
I know what I'm looking for.
So LI, the lifted index, is the same kind of thing. We're looking at the instability in the atmosphere, the amount the air wants to rise. The lower the number, so the more negative it is, the more the air wants to rise.
And we're very low.
Right. So
Negative,
generally,
we're at -8 now.
Yeah.
Because earlier we were at -7. Cincinnati was at -9. We evened out. We evened out at -8. But that's
so what that means is,
Yeah.
when we're at -1, -2, we get some storms.
Right.
Right. -3, -4, you get some impressive storms. -5, -6, you get some big storms. We're at -8.
so that's
So here we are.
And it's also been interesting this evening because as we've gotten closer to the event, even National Weather Service has heightened the level of concern about tonight's activity,
Yeah.
if you will.
Let me see if I can find their last discussion.
So yeah, so we are in a watch for a tornado watch, and you can say this however you want, but it's basically, it means the ingredients are all there, and you haven't necessarily put them together yet, but if they do come together, then we end up with a warning.
So we've had observed reports. So Vandalia just north of Dayton, is still Montgomery County. So they've had 51 mile per hour winds. Auglaize County has had 53 mile per hour winds. And in Madison County and Choctaw Lake, we've got tree limbs down.
Storm reports?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, we're starting to see those storm reports come in from where this has passed already.
Happening.
We typically don't get them as they're happening unless it's a spotter.
ASOS reports.
Yeah.
Those
Oh,
are
okay.
coming in. Those are real time. So yeah, it's happening out there.
So the storms behind this, yeah, thanks for asking about that because there are still some storms back here. Hold on, let me get the pointer right here. that have just passed through Indianapolis. And the National Weather Service has commented on these, and they said that looks like hail is the main concern with those storms. So they don't look to be worried about tornadic activity coming out from these back behind the main line. However, they are still causing some damage. I mean,
so Evan likes to use the sandwich analogy for tornadoes. I like cookies and tacos.
Tacos. We love tacos.
So it's the same thing. You've got all the ingredients to make cookies or all the ingredients to make tacos. That's your watch. But once the cookies are baked and happening, that's your cookie warning.
Yeah.
Or if we're ready to have tacos right now because they're put together, that's a taco warning. So yeah, that's the analogy.
I heard the click.
Yeah,
Looking to see. Hold on, we're just checking to see what the
Champaign, Clark, Greene, Logan, Madison, and Union counties until 9:45.
Okay, I feel like those were already.
They were. That's a continuation.
Okay. We'll get you probably can't hear it on the microphone, and we would like it to be a siren or something that grabs our attention more, because we can't hear it if we're not sitting right here. But one of our computers, the one that runs the crawl on your TV, anytime a new watch or warning comes out, there's a clicking noise, so we know that something has just been issued.
As the termites make clicking noises,
yeah,
you know what to do.
What is it? What would you describe it? There it was. I get it.
Click, click, click,
Click,
click.
click.
It's an electronic
like
click.
Yeah, it's a little click, click. Let's see what our click, click was.
That is, let's see.
I don't see anything new.
Yeah, that's not new. They're continuing a couple of things.
Let's see if any of these other places.
Let's do a quick round robin of where everything is right now. Okay. So, at the moment, we still have plenty of thunderstorm warning. So everything you see, let me turn off the lightning.
The radar is live. It's doing sweeps, so it's not moving, but it's sweeping, and it will progress the storms as it is.
So radar
moving.
It usually takes about 6 minutes per full sweep. So what happens is the radar does a sweep here, it tilts up a little bit, does another sweep, tilts up a little more, does another sweep, and tilts up again, and does, so it does like multiple layers. And that's how we get that 3D view of the atmosphere. So like when we did a few minutes ago, when we did the 3D slice of the storm to see how tall it was, that's what's happening, is it's using that radar data from multiple spins. So it goes around, and each time it takes some readings, and it does about 6 of those, and then it compiles that data and then feeds it out. So that's why you'll see the radar kind of it jumps a little bit as the storms come through.
And the reason we have it on this is so we can see the watches and warnings as they come up.
Right. So let me turn that down. I'm like, why am I hearing voices? It's us on a delay.
I thought they were talking.
I did too. It's us on a delay. But what you're looking at here is the line of storms that's affecting a lot of the area toward the Columbus metro. So all the way up here from Tiffin down into Upper Sandusky, Marion, Delaware, Waldo, Columbus, down into Courthouse, you've got the leading edge of those warnings. And what's back here is still plenty of rain and some lightning and thunder, but what's back here is less likely to be severe and less likely to have the... Ooh, that's some good thunder.
That was a good one.
Less likely to have that big hail and the gusty winds. So right now, from Upper Sandusky almost into Bucyrus, down to Marion, Waldo, Delaware, Marysville, Kenton, where are we? Champaign and Clark counties, down this way, from London down into Courthouse. You've got thunderstorm warnings And a lot of those are going to last at least for another few minutes, if not till 10 o'clock. What brand new thing coming in?
It's Fayette. It's, I think, an extension.
This says new event.
Oh.
So that's for more of Fayette County.
Yeah, Fayette, Clinton, Highland.
Oh, what is happening here? So the one for Fayette, Clinton, and Highland County, they have now tagged as destructive. They have used, that's a tag they don't use very often. They have tagged it as destructive because that storm may have 80 mile per hour winds. So that's 80 mile per hour straight line winds that can do some significant damage. So let's
That will cause flying debris.
Yeah. That is wind that is hurricane strength.
That can
and
damage your roof.
Yeah.
Break stuff can go through your windows for sure.
So where are we here? This is going to be for the one in Clinton, Fayette, and Highland. So yeah, that's this one right here. So we're looking at two different storms. There's this one here that's in southern Fayette County, and there's this one that's just west of Wilmington. And both of those have, we haven't used, I've got to build a show.
Oh, sorry.
We haven't used the velocity readings yet this evening. So here we are. Let's see. I don't like that one. Let's try this one. Wow. Holy
Someone's saying
cow.
Tornado sirens.
So check
But I
this
don't
out.
see-
This is just west of Wilmington. Right here. You see how bright that is? That means you've got the potential for those 80 mile per hour winds.
In
That's
Washington
what
Courthouse.
that's about. So, wow. Let me zoom in on that. Look at that. So, what you're seeing here is
They just posted a photo of it.
Of
as
that?
well, yeah.
so green is toward the radar, red is away from the radar. So, toward and away, toward and away. So, the brighter these colors, the faster it's moving. So, this is moving toward the Wilmington radar at almost 80 miles per hour. That is incredible. So by the time it finishes assembling this next sweep, it's going to be either on top of them or beyond it. But that's really kind of amazing. All right, let's get out of that. Let's go back to this. Look at the lightning with that. Man. So yeah, these are some powerful storms. These are going to keep moving through here at anywhere from 50 to 60 miles per hour. And the yellow, I'll get rid of the...
Yeah, there's no warning. Someone said that the sirens are going off in Washington Courthouse.
That's weird.
I'm wondering if...
We don't have a tornado warning
Yeah.
for that.
No. There's a severe thunderstorm warning.
There's a
but-
severe thunderstorm warning with the potential for 80 mile per hour winds. So, I mean, I get that. But that's not usually why we set off the tornado sirens. But there it is. Somebody's probably made a decision. So let's go here. So you're looking at severe thunderstorm warnings for a lot of the Columbus metro area right now, and that is going to continue through and beyond 10 o'clock. I haven't
I'll
built
jump back in.
I haven't
I
built
know.
the 10 yet. I got to get busy.
We're easily distracted when this stuff hits. So yeah.
Here's the next catch is that we're going to have to, in the relatively near future, we're going to need weather too for TV. So
Yeah.
we can keep it going for a little while yet.
Let's look at, oh my gosh, look at all that lightning. Let's do a lightning count on it. Why not? Lightning strike count for the area around Wilmington. 170, and you said that's every 15 minutes.
Yeah.
In the last 15 minutes, there have been 170 lightning strikes in and around Wilmington. We'll go up here because this one looks like just north of London looks to be producing quite a bit of lightning as well. 22. I mean, not as impressive, but that's still a lot of lightning in the course of 15 minutes. So they're also saying Canal Winchester seems kind of eerily calm at the moment.
So
And that happens.
if you're in Canal, you're probably seeing that lightning, and it's coming your way. It's just not quite there yet.
Nope. Yes, that's what we want. Oh, looks like quite a bit of lightning right here as well. Let's see. I mean, yeah, we're just keep adding to this. 32 lightning strikes. All right, so yeah, these, I mean, they are electric. These storms are for sure. And again, just seeing those very high wind speeds. And you can see this line, kind of this, we call that a bow echo, right?
A little bit, yeah.
It's not quite that organized, but yeah, this is just,
A lot going on out there.
yeah, this is just so impressive. That's going to head towards Pike and Ross counties. All right. Yeah, I'm waiting to get wind speed on that, James. They said they would give us a measurement on that wind once they got one. And I haven't seen them actually. They haven't put a reading out yet, but Wilmington said that they would give us a measurement on that wind speed. It's bad in Marysville. I believe it. Oh, we got a click.
Hang on, let's see what's new.
Yeah,
They've expired the warning for Hardin, Logan, and Union counties. They have expired the Logan for Champaign and Clark counties.
Interesting. Okay, so right where the most northern portion of this is moving through. That might be a good sign that things are weakening a bit.
That would be awesome. That'd be fantastic.
Yeah, we would like that very much. This storm to the south, though, again, as they said, has a destructive tag on it because of the wind speeds associated. So this one continuing to pass over Wilmington right now. Yeah, a lot of lightning. And again, yes, we are still in a tornado watch. Most of us are. We don't have that pulled up on here so we can really see the severe thunderstorm warnings that are going off.
Boss is coming in.
And I don't think they've expired any of the tornado watches even behind this. Yeah, they haven't. Okay, I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll do one more run of where this is going and when, and then I think we're going to have to jump off of this because we do need this computer. So let me... All right, so let's look this up.
Oh, that's right. You do have this stamp.
Yeah.
So Columbus, this is really, it kind of looks like it's already here. It says a few more minutes, and then it continues to push off to the east. Logan 10:45, Zanesville a little after 10:50. It'll be in Athens at 11:15, 11:16ish, and then once it moves that out of that area, so it looks like it might move out a little later. Well, we said between 6 p.m. and midnight, and it does look like it will actually be out of our area by midnight.
All right, y'all, we got to go. We will see you on TV.
So we'll be back
10.
on in less than 15 minutes and keep updating you. And if we do see any tornado warnings, we will let you know live on the air. I hope everyone stays safe as these storms are moving past you. Please, please, please stay inside, and we'll be bringing you damage reports through the evening as well. All right, bye-bye.